Rejoice, you have your lance. Okay. There we go. Oh. Oh! Oh, darling. Ah, good evening, my dear. I have went early for a change because there's a really good football match that I want to watch, and it's not kickoff isn't until 1 a.m. UK time. It is Portugal against Croatia. So I'm going. Oh God, is that Backbenchers? Ah, fuck. No. Do we not? Oh, is there no Backbenchers? Are they on the holies? Oh no, no, no. They must be on their holidays. Fuck. Okay, scratch that part. Davinia, my dear, I may have to call out of work. I'm so itchy. I want to turn my. Oh, please don't do that. um, I don't know if you have that over. It's zero derma. Get emollient. Your ears are. Oh God, the sympathy, my dear. My ears are like that. Okay, right. So Ha! There we go. Much better. Hello. Oh, you got the ER. Oof. Hydroxyzine will make me very sleepy. Oh dear. That means the ones that are projecting it onto the screen are starting to break down. I like my telly. You can see it just above there. There's the. Um, we got it from Amazon. It was relatively cheap. It's a really good telly. Oh God, did we order it on his account or my Amazon account? I can't remember. I'll go through my account. I'll go through my Amazon, my past Amazon orders and see if it's there, and I'll send you the link. Oh God, are you in my Discord, Lavinia? Are you on Discord at all? What the hell? Things are happening. I heard noises. There, bring up my phone. Give me my chat. Chat, please. I heard noises. Let's see what that was. Darling, thanks. Cool. Yeah. I'm on both. Thank you for the resub, my dear. Yay! No, no. Thank you. I will. Oh, Kira Ferris. Hello, Kira. Right, I don't know what to cover then. If there's no First Ministers, that's weird. Yeah, there's no First Ministers. Odd. They must be on their holidays. Okay, okay. Um. Oh, ah, weird. Oh, God. No, I'm not doing it. Jug your bugger can fuck off.
The National Podcast. My name is Laura. Hello, National readers and listeners. Welcome back to The National Podcast. My name is Laura Webster. I'm the editor of The National, and I am joined today by our political reporter, Abby Garton-Crosby.
Hello.
Welcome back. You've been on holiday?
I have, yeah. I've had a lot of catching up to do this morning, so very glad the podcast goes out at 1 o'clock in order for me to catch up on what's been happening, because I had my phone off all week, basically.
So, yeah, you've had quite the morning of a return where you had to watch the Andy Burnham speech, kind of do all of your
I was just talking back at the TV as well. So
and now, an hour and a half after that, you are now here to talk about it. So, yeah, sorry about that. I've really
very
put you through it.
It's okay. I mean, he was talking about devolution, which is one of my expertise areas and something I'm very interested
in. Rejoice, we have our Red Rust. Hi, Red. I have went early tonight because there is a really good football match on later on. 1 a.m. kickoff because reasons. Hello, indeed. Hello. So this is the National. This is the pro-indie supporting newspaper up here in Scotland. And this is their podcast. And they're talking about that speech Burnham gave the other day. Andy, you can piss off. He campaigned for Better Together. And he's a playwright. Fun. Parts of his speech were good, I guess. But we will find out. We will. Hello, indeed.
So
carry on, Abby.
Buses or something like that. I mean, I do like buses too, but you know what I mean.
Well,
right in my wheelhouse.
We will be getting into buses later in the week. There's some good stories coming on transport, but yeah, we'll keep it to Burnham for now. So we are recording today's podcast fresh from hearing Andy Burnham's vision for the future as the probable next Prime Minister. One of the key lines from today is that we are getting a number 10 North. Where might that be, you ask? Caithness, Inverness, Aberdeen, perhaps Shetland? No, number 10 North is going to be in Manchester, shockingly. The idea that it is a radical departure from standard...
That is not North in these United Kingdoms. I'm more North than Manchester. But we have a devolved administration. But that is why we are watching this one. Your lass is not liking Andy Burnham. I didn't like him back then when he was in the House of Commons anyway, so fuck it.
Westminster governance to move power 2 hours north shows just how London-centric our union currently is, and also demonstrates how Scotland is simply not a valued part of the picture. The language of number 10 North inherently leaves out Scotland. Meanwhile, Burnham's promise to bring Manchesterism to the UK sounds great in theory for people in the north of England, areas undoubtedly left behind by decades of UK government failure, but it will not resonate with people here in Scotland. Burnham made big promises about devolving power across the UK, but was extremely vague about how this would work in Scotland. Local government is devolved. That's not something that he even acknowledged in his speech. How does he plan to hand more powers to Scottish councils? Is he going to overrule the Scottish Parliament? We don't know. He didn't even take the time to learn how to pronounce Senath properly, so it's not looking any better for the people of Wales. His speech featured one reference to giving more power to Aberdeen and extending devolution in Scotland. No further detail was provided. But we got plenty of information about his plans for England. He promised the biggest council house building programme since the post-war period and giving English regions more control over things like water, housing and energy. This all sounds great for people in England, as I say, but what about us here in Scotland? Abby, can you tell us more about this speech, and do you think he came across like someone who's really thinking about all the parts of the UK?
Yeah, well, obviously, just off the very top of what you said, water is already public in Scotland and housing is devolved. So out of 3 of those things that you mentioned there, 2 of them are already in the powers of the Scottish Government. I mean, the first part of that speech was basically a stand-up routine. We were sitting there going, can we get to the policy, please? The tag on the BBC was Andy Burnham gives speech on policy, just all of the policy. And there was not a lot of depth to it or kind of explanation about how that would go beyond the border or, you know, Wales. Northern Ireland had the least references of anybody, which we'll get on to things that are going on related to that in a little bit. But, you know, it was so England focused. All the detail, as you said, was about England, and, you know, as if Manchester and London are the two main places that kind of connect up England, completely forgetting about what goes on above. And I just thought it was very interesting that he didn't say how devolution would be extended, in what areas. Does he understand what's reserved and what isn't reserved to Scotland?
If he doesn't, he better fucking learn soon. No, like the main one that I want devolved would be energy policy, so we can create our own Scottish grid, so we wouldn't need to worry about getting scalped when we put our 115% renewably generated electricity. We get charged to put it on the national grid because we're too far away. But we outstrip you in electricity generation, England. You do realise that, don't you? Christ's sake. Taking the girl for a walk. Cool. I will be here. Don't worry, Davinia. Enjoy the walk and give scritches. Burnham, devolve energy, please. We have we have part of it. Small part. We don't have it all. That'd be the easiest one to devolve to us. Thank you. Can you hear me? We will never get foreign, and we probably won't get the vast majority of economic levers or financial levers. Like, we've got income tax. We have 6 bands up here. Scooby! Rejoice, we have Scooby in chat. Hello. This is the National going over the Burnham speech from the other day.
What is he talking about? Will that include energy and referendum powers, which the Scottish Government have asked for? Has he even considered that? I doubt it. And, you know, he's been trailing this big speech as like a rewire of the UK, talking about devolution, but he's not even Prime Minister yet. He hasn't had any engagement with devolved leaders. He had all the English mayors along the front row, but there was no talk of, you know, the Welsh First Minister, the Scottish First Minister, Northern Ireland First Minister, all of whom are, you know, pro-independence or pro-unification politicians. No mention of that. That was kind of just, it was so England focused that I was like, what are we looking for here? Like, what is Scotland going to get out of this? And, you know, it is possible for Westminster to kind of go over Holyrood's head for local government, but it's never been done before, because we have the Sewell Convention, which is, it's a political rule basically under the Constitution that Westminster agreed they won't pass legislation on devolved matters without consulting with the Scottish Government.
It doesn't stop them normally.
Doesn't stop them. That was the next point I was getting on to.
They've already tried to overrule us on certain things in the past anyway. I have issues with the House of Commons in Westminster generally, if you can't tell. I'm also a Republican. We live in a constitutional monarchy here, which sucks. It's the 21st century. Should be a republic already, for fuck's sake. Huh? I would want a referendum on whether we want to have sausage fingers as the head of state. I quite like the idea of the Republic of Ireland, what they've got. So they've got the Taoiseach, which is basically their Prime Minister, plus they've got a President who protects their constitution, essentially. So I think that law is unconstitutional. That is the lovely socialist lady. Well done, Republic of Ireland. But Sinn Féin's in charge in storming in Northern Ireland. So, all pro-Indie, all left-leaning, essentially, the Northern Ireland, Wales, and up here. He does. There's plenty of things he could devolve up to us. There is when he becomes Prime Minister. Oh. Going to be having a fun one with Jim on Saturday, a stream. I am Andy List, him and his friend Lewis are away to Warsaw. They leave tomorrow. How's that? I can't hear myself. Hang on.
I've seen that lots of times where, particularly during the Tories era, Hollywood refused to give consent on a lot of things because they have to put forward these legislative.
Is that better? Oh, it's a little bit down a bit. We'll move it up here. A second. That better? I've moved it closer to me. Thank you, darling. Praise be everyone. Supermod coming in for the win. Yay! So I've moved it up onto my cardi. It's here. It was sitting down there, basically in my cleavage. Easier for me. But yeah, there we go. Is that better? Nice one. Thank you, everyone, for your help. Sweet. Oh, rejoice! We have Fuzzmas. Hello, Fuzzmas. Based Scottish comrade. Bit better. Thank you, Scooby. No problem, my dear. Yeah, that's the side effect. They have to. That's the most common side effect for a lot of different types of medicines or drugs, if you wish. So, like my ones that I take, like the apixaban does it. It's basically so apixaban's my blood thinner. I'm on for the Americans in audience, gabapentin, or for the British people here, pregabalin. Plus, I'm on fentanyl patches and my HRT and omeprazole, proton pump inhibitor, because my stomach be fucked. Years of NSAIDs when I was first diagnosed as a little girl when I was 10 years old. And I got put on some of the strongest NSAIDs known to man when I was a little girl. Destroyed my stomach even before I started drinking. So diclofenac or diclofex, if you wish, and Indie Medicine can go and do one. They've literally done a number on me. So my lower part of my stomach and part of my intestines are fucked, for lack of a right word. The Messiah of the North. I'll go back to the beginning for you, Fuzzmas. It's actually quite fun. You might actually like this one.
Hello, National readers and listeners. Welcome back to the National podcast. My name is Laura Webster. I'm the editor of The National, and I'm joined today by our political reporter, Abby Garton-Crosby.
Hello.
Welcome back. You've been on holiday?
I have, yeah. I've had a lot of catching up to do this morning, so very glad the podcast goes out at 1 o'clock in order for me to catch up on what's been happening, because I had my phone off all week, basically.
So, yeah, you've had quite the
Sharp corner of my desk to my left, caught my finger, little scratch. It's been bleeding quite badly over the last 2 days. 2 days. 2 days. I done it on Tuesday. And in case I need to change it, I'll have plaster. Ah! Damn! Dropped it. Go there. Thank you. You know what? To actually make it a little bit better, come here, lovely healing crew. Healing crew. Haha. Oh, that's better. There we go. Ha ha ha. Oh, yeah. You know that. I'm clumsy as all hell. Yeah. Not much you can do about that. I'll be fine. Don't worry about me. I just want it to seal over. Then I can take the plaster off. Because look at it. It's fraying away at the edges. Fucking hell. That's the problem when you do any sort of like get little cuts or grazes on your fingers. When you have to put a plaster on them, because you use your fingers quite a lot during the day, they have a nasty habit of fraying at the edges and stuff, rolling up. And if I need to, the box of them are just over there, just behind the monitor on a bookcase. He was moaning at me, said, why can't you just heal quicker and stop going through really expensive plastic chop? I love him desperately, but he is a bit of a idiot. Sorry, my dear. These are expensive. Calm down. I'll buy them off my next payment then. Bloody hell. They're called they're the Elastoplast brand. Any of your cheaper knockoffs, they don't even last a couple of hours. They fall off me. So I have to get decent ones. I keep on having to explain this to him.
Morning of a return where you had to watch the Andy Burnham speech, kind of do all of your
I was just talking back at the
research.
TV as well. So
and now, an hour and a half after that, you are now here to talk about it. So, yeah, sorry about that. I've really put you through it.
It's okay. I mean, he was talking about devolution, which is one of my expertise areas and something I'm very interested in. So at least it wasn't buses or something like that. I mean, I do like buses too, but you know what I mean?
Well,
right in my wheelhouse.
We will be getting into buses later in the week. There's some good stories coming on transport, but yeah, we'll keep it to Burnham for now. So we are recording today's podcast fresh from hearing Andy Burnham's vision for the future as the probable next Prime Minister. One of the key lines from today is that we are getting a number 10 North. Where might that be, you ask? Caithness, Inverness, Aberdeen, perhaps Shetland? No, number 10 North is going to be in Manchester, shockingly. The idea that it is a radical departure from standard Westminster governance to move power 2 hours north shows just how London-centric our union currently is, and also demonstrates how Scotland is simply not a valued part of the picture. The language of number 10 North inherently leaves out Scotland. Meanwhile, Burnham's promise to bring Manchesterism to the UK sounds great in theory for people in the north of England, areas undoubtedly left behind by decades of UK government failure, but it will not resonate with...
Damn it. I shall return. Huh? Sorry about that. Super Hubby needed to go as well. That's why it took a little bit longer. Sorry about that. Rejoice, comrades. Hang on, who is that? It's Studio. Hello. And we have an Elron. How goes it? Elron's good, people. I am back indeed. Yes. Super Happy needed to go and relieve himself.
People
Carry on,
here
ladies.
in Scotland. Burnham made big promises about devolving power across the UK, but was extremely vague about how this would work in Scotland. Local government is devolved. That's not something that he even acknowledged in his speech. How does he plan to hand more powers to Scottish councils? Is he going to overrule the Scottish Parliament? We don't know. He didn't even take the time to learn how to pronounce Senedd properly, so it's not looking any better for the people of Wales.
Senedd. Maybe we should send specs to Burnham so he can educate him on how to pronounce Welsh words properly. Or maybe GLJ from the Burks. One of the Burks. So Specs lives in the south of Wales. The Burks live in the north of Wales. Maybe send them over. I think the Burks are closer to Manchester.
Speech featured one reference to giving more power to Aberdeen and extending devolution in Scotland. No further detail was provided. But we got plenty of information about his plans for England. He promised the biggest council house building programme since the post-war period.
Do we believe him? We will find out, I guess. None of this 1.5 million over the space of a fucking parliament. Not enough. Not enough. Yeah. Apparently. Fully understands us. Citation needed. A lot of us Scots will remember he campaigned with Better Together so he can fuck right off. Now, he may have done some good things. I've talked to Manchester friends, primarily as friends Rust. The B network's quite good, I guess. I approve. And there's a possibility we might be getting the same sort of model brought here to Glasgow. I think a lot of us Glaswegians are fucking pissed off with First Bus because they take us for a ride, literally. Yeah. Well said, Elron. Thank you. Oh, don't worry. We're opinionated enough that he can probably hear us all the way down there. Anyway, if we get loud enough, he might stop being scumbaggery-esque. Give us fucking energy policy, Burnham, you bastard. I've been saying this for fucking years.
Giving English regions more control over things like water, housing, and energy. This all sounds great for people in England, as I say. But what about us here in Scotland? Abby, can you tell us more about this speech? And do you think he came across like someone who's really thinking about all the parts of the UK?
Yeah, well, obviously, just off the very top of what you said, water is already public in Scotland and housing is devolved. So out of 3 of those things that you mentioned there, 2 of them are already in the powers of the Scottish Government. I mean, the first part of that speech was basically a stand-up routine. We were sitting there going, can we get to the policy, please? The tag on the BBC was, Andy Burnham gives speech on policy, just all of the policy. And there was not a lot of depth to it or kind of explanation about how that would go.
I remember that as well, Fuzzmuds, oddly enough. Freaking hell.
Beyond the border or, you know, Wales. Northern Ireland had the least references of anybody, which we'll get on to things that are going on related to that in a little bit. But, it was so England focused. All the detail, as you said, was about England, and, as if Manchester and London are the two main places that kind of connect up England, completely forgetting about what goes on above. And I just thought it was very interesting that he didn't say how devolution would be extended, in what areas. Does he understand what's reserved and what isn't reserved to Scotland? What is he talking about? Will that include energy and referendum powers, which the Scottish Government have asked for? Has he even considered that? I doubt it. And, he's been trailing this big...
Rejoice! We have Marcus! Hello, Marcus. How things go stateside. We watch the news. Obviously, the World Cup's happening right now. Say hello to Marcus Drake, everyone. Long time no see, friend. I hope you're doing well.
Speech is like a rewire of the UK talking about devolution, but he's not even Prime Minister yet. He hasn't had any engagement with devolved leaders. He had all the English mayors along the front row, but there was no...
Hello, Jacqueline. How's it going, my dear? Great to see you tonight. I went early because I want to watch the Portugal-Croatia match, which is 1 a.m. kickoff. Fucking mind me. Like our first one against Haiti, that was fuck off o'clock, kickoff at 2 o'clock in the morning. That one done me in. I streamed with Kevin for that one. That was awesome. Fucking loved it. I was a little bit, yeah. But we're coming home now. Yeah. I was a little bit worried about Morocco and Brazil, obviously. 6th in the world. God, it's been ages since I had a hobnob. Oh God, fuck it. I'll get them to buy them off the next universal credit payment, which is soon. That's all I'll say. You're no finding out what team benefit gets paid. Mine's is easy. Mine's is every 4th Tuesday. Next time I get my benefit is on the 21st. And I'll be buying stuff. I'll be buying more tech for myself. I might actually get a printer, so I can print off screeds of useless information from my screens.
Talk of, the Welsh First Minister, the Scottish First Minister, Northern Ireland First Minister, all of whom are, pro-independence or pro-unification politicians. No mention of that. That was kind of just, it was so England focused that I was like, what are we looking for here? Like, what is Scotland going to get out of this? And, it is possible for Westminster to kind of go over Holyrood's head for local government, but it's never been done.
My dear, nice one.
Convention, which is, it's a political rule basically under the Constitution that Westminster agreed they won't pass legislation on devolved matters without consulting with the Scottish Government.
It doesn't stop them normally.
That was the next point I was getting onto. We have seen that lots of times where, particularly during the Tories era.
They keep on forgetting about the Sewer Convention. They do. Yes, and the most guilty, obviously, are the scumbags. Oh, poor darling. I feel for you. Right, because I get mine's is devolved, it's up here now. I'm on the full award, I'm on enhanced for both of them, essentially. Still the same names as under PIP. But it's called Adult Disability Payment up here. I'm doing not too bad. Right knee fucked. It is always swollen now. Walking is interesting. I'm on blood thinners because the pill form of HRT, the estrogen part of it, the estradiol, has a nasty habit of making blood clots. They formed in my lower leg. That was last year. So I've been on a Pixaban since March well, I was in the hospital for 13 days. So I'm on a Pixaban now. So I take 2 a day, one at 10 a.m., one at 10 p.m. So I don't form clots again, and I'm back onto the patch form of HRT, which is a hell of an easier. I was first on them when I got diagnosed with one of my issues when I was a teenager, 16. So I'm back onto the patch one because it doesn't do it as much, but the estrogen in it still has a nasty habit of causing blood clots. I had fucking huge ones sitting on my lungs. I was struggling to breathe. That was terrifying. But my right knee, most of my joints are swollen anyway, but my right knee especially. Ever since I fractured it a couple of years ago, getting out my mum's car up in Perth, my kneecap hasn't felt the same since. I feel it when it's getting cold. Delightful. Oh, right. I asked my hematologist if I should go in the patch or the gel. Said that it would probably be easier. You get the patches quicker than you would get the gel. You'd probably, the scary as fuck. My middle sister was convinced it was the tramadol that I'd been on for years, but when that happened to me last year, I've been off tramadol for about 8 years. It's getting damn close to me being off tramadol for a decade now. So I don't think it was that. All the tramadol would have been basically have left my body by that point. So the only other reasonable conclusion was the estradiol. My youngest sister's a community nurse, and she said that. I said, ask your GP about that one. And I did back then, last year. I said, what do you think of that one? With your connective tissue disorders, it might not actually work. Trying to get it to stay in place because of the way my muscles are, they don't work. But getting the implant in there, be one of the arms or in the bahookie. Oh my god, what is happening? Oh yeah, tramadol's bad. Middle sister has dental issues. She's had whenever she's went to get work done on her teeth, and as a painkiller, they give her the tramadol to deal with the pain, and it ruins her. Said, how could you cope on it? Agony. I needed the agony I go through. I needed the tramadol. I'm glad I'm off it now. Rejoice, comrades. We have had the resident philosopher for what? The actual fuck, 18 months. With Prime, thank you for the Bezos bucks, Scribby. Please be. Say thank you, Scribby, for supporting your lass. Scribby's awesome. If you are here, if you can hear me, Scribby, I've read one of those, one of the ones that you sent me. I forgot how infuriating Malthus is. It's probably going to take me a couple of months to get that stream sorted, that discussion. Watch out for the future. Your lass is going to be covering Robert Malthus. It'd been sitting in the back of my mind ever since Kev said in one of his live streams, Malthusian scumfucks. And said, oh god, it's been ages since I've actually covered fucking Malthus. I got a Prime sub from Scribby. He is awesome. I'm going to have to be on it for as long as I want, essentially. So entirely up to myself. Mind you, in saying that, my mum started going through the menopause when she was 48, which I will be next year. And I asked her, what do you think? It's entirely up to yourself. My poor gran, 57, she started going through the menopause. So she was perimenopausal probably 55 onwards. So up until the age of 55, she could essentially have fucking kids. Poor granny. Enjoy your cup of tea. I'm a good girl. I try to use sweeteners as much as I can. I've got Canderel, like the click dispenser of it, not the actual powdered one. But I can't do it for my coffee. I have to put sugar in my coffee. And I sometimes take my coffee black as well, in the milk.
Holyrood refused to give consent on a lot of things because they have to put forward these legislative consent motions, anything that would kind of go into that. And a lot of them refused, but it didn't matter, it passed anyway. But for Burnham, what Burnham is going to do is to go over the heads of the Scottish Government. He hasn't confirmed this, as I said about the detail, but speaking hypothetically, if he goes over the head of the Scottish Government, gives more powers to local governments without engaging with the Scottish Government, that will cause a massive constitutional row, because that is that is like muscular unionism on steroids. That, and we've seen a lot of, even under Keir Starmer, a lot more of this, like really strong. No, we won't give way. The union is great. We'll do all this sorts of stuff. But if they did that, that would be worse than the Levelling Up Fund.
I mean, that doesn't seem like something that really fits with the image that Andy Burnham is trying to showcase, does it? But it doesn't mean that it wouldn't happen. Yeah. I mean, it's certainly interesting that just last week we had reported about how the Liverpool mayor had described in detail how they wanted to get rid of the Barnett formula. Mm-hmm. And then within, I think, a day, they'd said, well, Andy Burnham had said, no, I don't actually plan on doing that. So as much as he's had all of this time to think about how he plans to
look at that after this hill run, Marcus, even
the UK. It seems like he's already walking back on some of it a little bit. And if he's not going to...
Yes, I'm definitely getting that feeling, Cosmos. Definitely am. How goes things in your little slice of Scotland, my comrade? Don't dox yourself, just say what's it like? Oh, thank you, Marcus.
Change the funding system, then what are his plans for Scotland? Mm-hmm. I would like to hear more of that. Yeah. I was disappointed that...
I would like to hear more from him as well about devolution. I would. What you got planned for us, Andy? We're all waiting with bated breath. I kind of don't trust them. Don't get me wrong, I've been saying, just nationalise your water down there for fuck's sake. It's really fucking good. I love my publicly owned water up here. It's bloody amazing. It is good. It is good. And they're upgrading the network. They're like, there was still old as fuck pipes here in Glasgow in the older parts of the city and shit like that. So they're upgrading all the piping. They've finished the north. Literally the north of the city's all done. Nice one. Oh God. Over there, there's overflow tanks because the streets behind me going down the past the entrance of the primary school, which is just there. So I had a nasty habit of pooling and flooding the lower houses, the flats, the not sky rises, but the blocks of flats. And the lower flats had a nasty habit of getting flooded by it because of the way the hills are orientated up here. So there's a kind of dip down behind me. And there's a dip in the road come down from 3 different directions just outside my flat, out there. So they fixed all that. They keep on having to fix the roads to deal with that. And they thought, fuck it, we're just going over old ground. And the underlying ground underneath it is still going to have that dip, no matter how much they try to macadam it away or pave it over, essentially. So they thought, fuck it, we'll do the other thing that could possibly work and create big giant tanks to take over to deal with the overflow. And it's worked. Those flats behind me haven't flooded since. Round of applause. Oh, it's really quite bad. one of the houses kept it, because of the position of one of the lower flats where it got fucked every time it was heavy rain or with snow melt and shit like that. And the insurance company, I know that the person that was living in the flat, that lives in the flat, she used to be a barmaid in one of the local pubs. And she kept on having to call an insurance company. It's happened again. Christ's sake. Right, this is going to have to get fixed or we're not going to cover you. So our building insurance was fucking mental. Crazy high. Poor lass. But it's fixed now and the insurance company are fully celebrating. Fucking yay! Don't have to pay out when our house gets flooded.
There were so many references to English regions, you know, Humberside, we're hearing about all the different parts that England consists of, but Scotland was referred to as this one unanimous place. We have many regions. We have many regions.
32 councils that cover a really large geographical area, let me tell you. There's a lot of talk about we should have more local councils in Scotland.
The only specific place that was mentioned in Scotland was Aberdeen in the context of kind of the industrial changes that are happening there, which are, of course, very important.
If the air pressure changes, I can actually feel it because I shit you not, all of my toes, I repeat, all of them have been broken at least once. I've got it in for my right big toe. It's been broken 16 or 17 times over the years. My x-rays of my feet are fucking insane looking. Like, and I've broken all the bones in my feet. Yeah. Oh no. The fun one was when I broke my big toe getting it off sofa. That was delightful. How the fuck I managed that? Correct, Fuzzmas. Yeah. Andy, that's not north. It is north of London, I'll give you that. But it is not north in these United Isles. This is north. Aberdeen's north. Hursle's north. Stornoway. Inverness is north. Oh yeah. I've broken metatarsals 5 times. And me. I'm saying x-rays and my feet are mad looking. Like, and I've fractured like I've not fractured my femur yet, thank fuck for that. But anyway, both my femurs are fine. But my lower leg, I've fractured the left one a few times and the right one once. I've fractured my humerus on my left arm. That was painful as fuck. Those are fine. I've not broken the collarbones yet. Clavicle. I have fractured one of my scapulas. That was delightful. That's just shoulder blade, by the way. Yeah. Yeah, I don't get it either. It's no. There's places further north than yes. Trust me.
And Labour will be absolutely wanting to regain the trust of people in Aberdeen.
Especially after that by-election.
Yes, especially after the by-election result. But why, and I get so tired of this with Burnham, this constant nations and...
Oh yeah, I'm a mess of a human being, Davinia. The joys of having an autoimmune diseases. It's fun, trust me. Yes, I'm a broken mess. But I get by. North is everything north of the what for crap as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. We could maybe go into that one next if you want. I haven't actually watched it yet. I've seen clips of it.
Regions. Scotland gets put into the same category as Yorkshire or Humberside or the Northeast. It is not the same thing. And he does not seem to acknowledge that. What do you think?
I don't either, because, as I said, a lot of things are already devolved to Scotland, and it's very different even when you look at Wales compared to what Wales has devolved. They don't have as many things devolved as we do. And was this whole argument not...
They've got about a third of what we've got. I said that to Specs and to a couple of Burks as well. I want you to have what we've got up here. It is only fair. Give them more powers, burn them for fuck's sake. Devolve more powers to the Senate. Like we've got a fair amount, but they don't. They're treated with contempt as far as I'm concerned. Trust me, they treat us with contempt as well, especially the fucking Tories. And now reform, fun. Blue Angels? I'm not sure of that one.
That the Barnett formula was unfair to England because Scotland gets too much money or something like that. I can't remember. But I just do not think that he has truly considered or truly thought about Scotland when he's been putting this whole devolution pitch together, because it is more complicated because we've had devolution for such a long time and because we have so many different powers, and there's obviously a need for more powers.
That?
And he's sort of admitting that, more powers is a good thing, but how far is he willing to let that go is really the question, because we've seen this so many times for Westminster where they promise the earth and they say, oh, we'll give you all these things with more devolution, federalism, all these different conversations, and it never comes to pass.
Well, I should point out that someone in the comments has mentioned he did actually talk about Dundee as well. He was saying that people in Dundee feel far away from Holyrood in the same way they feel far away from Westminster.
I kid you not. I've got friends up in Dundee and they went, what the fuck? There's a collective yell. Get it up, get your drawbacks. I love Dundonians. They're bloody amazing people. Nearly as mental as some Glaswegians. I'm from the rather sane Perth. A little bit further south of Dundee. As you can tell by my accent. But if I get angry, I sound Glaswegian. Which is rather fun. So when I do my ranting here, I can hear myself sounding a little, a good bit more Glaswegian. Glaswegian dad, by the way. Yeah, he's from Dundee. They represented Aberdeen South, which the Tories won. Aberdeen South, what the fuck are you doing to me? I like the SNP candidate for that by-election, by the way. I thought it was quite good. And a nice, comfortable win for Lara Bird and Arbroath and Broughty Ferry, which Stephen Gethins used to represent.
I think we should make it clear, neither of us are sat here saying there shouldn't be further devolution to local councils. I mean, if you've ever heard Leslie Riddick speak about how well represented people in many European countries are in their local councils, you'll find that there are fewer local councils and more local councils representing fewer people, and people get greater access to democracy. That sounds like a great thing. I think what we are talking about is the lack of transparency about what Andy Burnham is planning here, whether it's been thought about at all. The Greens have put out a release saying that it seems like Scotland is an afterthought in the whole plan, and also whether the Scottish government, our democratically elected Scottish government, are being consulted about what these plans are.
I don't think
doesn't appear to be, does it?
This is the thing, we've seen that with Andy Burnham. He's going to have to work.
Come up and talk to John, please, Andy. Thank you. Yeah, that's why we're my branch are getting up for the locals next May. We want to expand. We want to get more Green councillors into Glasgow City Council. So it's a minority SNP administration led by Susan Aitken. No, is it Susan Aitken? Naughty Katie. Oops. I can type honestly. It's still Susan, right. Oh God, right. Audio input. Give me a second, I'll fix that. Oh, I've already got 4 filters on it. I don't know, again on it. There's no again on my audio. That's weird. It shouldn't be. Slightly, not a lot. Thanks, Elron. Move it down a bit. Move it down a bit. Is that a bit better? Maybe I'm just being a bit too shrill.
With the Scottish government, and he doesn't exactly have a great track record of, engaging politely on independence chat, does he? I mean, think about during the COVID pandemic when he was complaining about Nicola Sturgeon and telling people to not leave parts of Scotland because, and he was being very strange about it, making weird comments about people having to use their passports to cross the border during the referendum and things. He's going to have to work with the Scottish government, and this was supposed to be his big kind of first stump speech ahead of him becoming prime minister, and Scotland's barely mentioned in it. I mean, we heard more, as you said, about different parts of England than we did about Scotland, and as you said, Leslie talking about local authorities in Scotland, there's definitely lots of issues in local authorities, and what springs to my mind is Highland is such a large council area.
Oh yeah,
and it's huge, and it's like it's massive. I don't think you can comprehend.
It was in the global settings, not in the actual audio input one on the mixer here. So I've turned the gain down a bit. That should have helped. Rejoice, we have a Burke. Be that you, Burke Jr. Say hello to a singular Burke. How's the ear? And get them tell you need flucloxacillin, by the way. I will DM you about it. Don't worry.
How many different communities in Highland Council area where it stretches from, and you're talking about getting closer to democracy and devolution, then obviously there is a call for that. But this does not appear to me that that's what Andy Burnham is suggesting.
Exactly. And we have to keep in mind that when we do go through these devolution processes, they shouldn't be top down. They need to be from the people. And so has Andy Burnham had conversations with people in the Highlands about how they'd like to see the arrangements changed? I mean, maybe he has. Andy Burnham, get in touch, let me know. But I'd say those are conversations that should be happening, and he needs to be understanding the needs of the people in the Highlands. And what they need from their local authority differs greatly from what people in Manchester need from their local authority.
That's the city. I mean, we've got a lot of rural areas in Scotland. He did touch on that in the speech. He did talk about, rural economies and farmers and things like that. But, the devil is in the detail, and what we didn't get was the detail.
Exactly. Well, I want to point to Tommy Shepherd's piece in today's National. So Tommy Shepherd is a former SNP MP. He writes a great big column in the National. And he wrote specifically about what he thinks the SNP need to do to respond.
He's going to have to. And that's when we find out how many party members there is. Taking guesses now, everyone. I'm saying it's sub 80,000. I'm saying it's below 100,000 members now. He's going to try and win some of them back, but all the left-leaning members that joined when Corbyn was leader, we've all moved. Well, yeah. Careful what you wish for, Elron. Just saying. I have no idea. Bez, maybe. Mind you, she might get put in cabinet. Yeah. Who else could run against them? I'm terrified that Steve Reid might throw his hat in the ring. I despise that man with a burning passion. I could see him doing it, and the fact that odious little prick is backing Burnham, I wonder what sort of position he's wanting back in cabinet. He literally is, and I don't trust the little bastard. I don't. Wes, stay away from Pride, you bastard. Just fuck right off. But we will see. Taking guesses about who you think might actually throw their hat in the ring, everyone. Yeah. Keep me posted. Would you, Elron? It'd be fascinating. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Oh, you can try and do that if he likes. He's going to have to deal with me if he does, though. Warning, Andy, have you tried to put in any sort of apparatchiks up here? It's bad enough that Anna's fucking exists and don't need more of them. And fucking, please, for the love of God, get rid of Alexander. I hate him and all. But I'm trying to. I've been going through the Labour members, the Labour MP, the PLP, essentially, to see what Scottish scumbaggery is there. Obviously, my one. But I don't see her getting put into the fucking Scottish office. Oh, right. I can keep it paused until you're back, Jacqueline. Who's your MP? Anyway, Fuzzmas. What flavour of neoliberal do you have representing you in that den of iniquity? Mine is Maureen Burke, everyone. Feel free to check her out. I don't like her. She was voting for what they wanted to do to Pip. She's got one of the most deprived and disabled fucking constituencies in all the land. You can try that, no. No one's going to ban my fucking haggis. No one. Real shit, onion flavours they are. Yeah. I'm wondering if, right, full clarity, everyone. Elron, the poor comrade. His MP is the Security Secretary. She's one of Shabana Mahmood's underlings. Her name is Angela Eagle. Me and Elron want to eject her. We want to get rid of her, essentially. Scotland. You can try that now. Seriously, Andy, didn't piss us off. You know exactly what will happen. You've met Scots before. You know what we're like. Didn't give us a fucking excuse. And as far as I'm concerned just now, you've already given us a few. Thanks. And we will just meme you straight to the gates of hell. Straight to the gates of pandemonium. Or this if you want. Depends how egregious you get.
On to Burnham, obviously, he is a different person to Keir Starmer, whether you think that he's just like Keir Starmer, his sort of branding and packaging of himself.
Oh, no. That was one of the things Starmer's just done recently. Yeah. You can stay open the pubs in the Scotland. Better than Scotland, I guess. For Scotland! Don't get me wrong, I'm with the girls here. I'm with the two lovely ladies here. I want the councils to have more powers devolved to them. And for that, he will need to talk to COSLA, which is the Convention of Scottish Local Authorities. It's basically the umbrella assault for other council. There's 32 councils up here, by the way, and they're right. The Highland Council is one of the largest, geographically speaking, and the least populated, oddly enough. On size of the number of councillors, Glasgow, and kind of a large, obviously large city in Scotland. So we've got a good few councillors. Correct, Elron. Publicly owned water up here, though. I want publicly owned energy as well. Please devolve energy policy, Burnham, you bastard. I've been screaming that into the void for years now. Ever since I joined the Green Party, so about 3 years now, I've been saying this. But I'd said it before anyway. Just devolve fucking energy policy to us, you bunch of bastards. 115% renewably generated electricity. I want to put that to good use. Thanks.
Is very different. So how does the SNP react to that? Where do they take the independence conversation? You can't just say Andy Burnham sits on the fence in the same way that you could with Keir Starmer. Okay. He says this: Burnham's repeated commitment over a long period of time to reform the way in which the UK is governed, particularly electoral reform and devolution, offers an opportunity. There are good reasons for him not to ditch these policies. They represent a distinct and easy break with Starmer, and they don't cost anything in the short term. Opportunities need to be taken advantage of. The Scottish Government, with its pro-independence majority, needs to have a strategy for engagement, using every legal and political means at its disposal to press for change. Sitting back and letting things run their course will become a self-fulfilling prophecy of betrayal and failure. I think that's really important. Like how the Scottish government do respond to this will be really interesting. I expect we'll probably hear something today, right? From Swinney, or at least from... You would assume nothing in the inbox yet. There is a comment from Dave Dugan, who's the SNP's Westminster leader, which I've just got down here. So he basically said, if Andy Burnham was serious about devolution, then he should start by devolving the energy powers that Scottish Parliament has already voted for, instead of keeping control over Scotland's energy at Westminster. And if he genuinely believes people should have more control over their future, they must explain why he wants to block people in Scotland from having any choice over ours by denying Scotland's democratic right to choose our own future with independence. Now, he does said that the SNP will work with the Labour government wherever possible to secure meaningful devolution. So I guess that's the point: is is Andy Burnham going to take a different approach than Keir Starmer, who just said, "I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to do anything"? Is he actually going to engage on devolution? And the two things that the SNP have really been pushing for since the election is the devolution of the powers for Holyrood to hold the referendum and energy. So those will be the two things that the SNP will be focusing on, I imagine. Well, Andy Burnham he kind of comes from that Labour school of like Devo Max, right? I can see him being the kind of person who, should there be a scenario whereby an independence referendum became a possibility, he'd be the kind of guy who is saying, well, we'll say, sure, you can have a referendum, but it's going to say yes to independence or yes to Devo Max. And it kind of does change the independence conversation a little bit. And of course, I am getting ahead of myself. I can only...
That was one of the promises. Like, the Smith Commission came up with Scotland should have these, so that was Devo Max. Still haven't got it. And our referendum was 12 fucking years ago. For more on the Smith Commission, ask your lads. We got about a third of the powers that Lord Smith suggested, and they kept the rest of them. One of the main ones that the SNP have been wanting for a while now is energy policy. Like, I keep on screaming into the void about.
Go based on what he said previously and the information we have about his time as a politician. Of course, Andy Burnham is not in favour of independence, and as far as we know, he is not going to grant any kind of referendum. I'm talking very speculatively that he is a very pro-devolution figure, and he seems likely to push Scotland towards more devolution over...
You are correct, Fuzz Muzz. Yes, he only gave us the two options: stay part or go independent. He didn't give us the option of saying more powers. Because he knew if he'd done that, a lot of people would have voted for that. So you either stay part of the union and get treated like shit, or you go independent and we actually get the country back that we want, get our country back. he didn't want to put that third option on because David Cameron is a bastard. You can keep Coventry.
Independence. I do think that's very interesting and maybe not something that the independence movement necessarily knows how to respond to.
Yeah, because it would be, pushing it as far as they could without full independence. And what would that mean? And then they would have to set out the terms of that. And then, it would leave the independence movement then have to argue why that isn't good enough. Because, the last time we were promised a lot of things in 2014 that, didn't come to pass, staying in the EU, things like that. This is a very different situation that we're in now. And it would be interesting to see what both sides would lay out if that was to occur, essentially.
Yeah, I'm curious about it.
Me too.
I personally would choose independence over
Really?
shockingly, over Devo Max. I think what people have to remember is power devolved is power retained. I think that's the phrase that always springs to mind. When you have devolution, that's great, that's more power for you, but there is ultimately still a controlling force who decides what happens with that power. So I would encourage people who maybe are thinking, oh, Devo Max, that sounds nice, or more devolution for the councils. Maybe we'll do that instead of independence. Maybe that's the change we need. Remember, it still would be Westminster pulling the strings.
Yes, and the Treasury. It was very interesting what you said, though, about, shaking up the Treasury and radical change. I'm like, how radical, though? And how are you going to get that?
Wales is considered a principality because they didn't want to deal with them as a kingdom. They were a kingdom. They were. Burke Jr., please tell me you know your own history. I know my own history of Scotland, obviously. We were a kingdom. Wales was a kingdom, as far as I'm concerned. It was. But it got treated as like a principality. Disgusting, that's why there's a Prince of Wales. Because it's a principality, essentially. Rather large principality, if you, in my opinion. No. Kingdom, thanks. Yeah, they changed the name. This, yeah, it was abolished a few centuries ago.
Past.
Well, it's still
The
following
Westminster
the
bubble.
fiscal rules, so
Exactly. And apparently keeping Shabana Mahmood on, which...
great.
Don't worry about
very
it.
left-wing of you.
Shall we move on to
Yes.
our next
Yeah,
story?
I do.
So the SNP have breached a Scottish Parliament vote for an Israel boycott amid preparations to issue government bonds, it has been alleged.
Comrie
Last
would
week,
know.
the Scottish Government confirmed 9 banks which have been chosen to support a £1.5 billion issuance of bonds. Expected later in 2026 or early 2027, the plan will see the government lent money by private investors in exchange for interest payments and the return of their principal at a set maturity date. Among the banks signed up was Barclays, which the Palestinian-led Boycott, Divestment, Sanctions, or BDS movement says is bankrolling Israel's genocide. The BDS movement notes that Barclays has, quote, an agreement with Israel to act as a primary dealer for its government bonds, meaning it helps Israel directly to raise money to fund its genocide and apartheid against Palestinians. In September last year, MSPs in the Scottish Parliament backed a motion calling on the SNP government to, quote, immediately impose a package of boycotts, divestment, and sanctions targeted at the state of Israel and at companies complicit in its military operations and its occupation of Palestine. Patrick Harvey, the Scottish Green MSP who introduced the BDS motion, said, quote, this isn't good enough. When a company is so directly linked to arming Israeli forces, then they should clearly be covered by any boycott worthy of the name. The Scottish Government agreed to a motion to boycott, divest and sanction Israel and companies linked to the atrocities being carried out against Palestinians.
Thank you,
by
Junior.
any reasonable understanding, they are breaching this commitment by choosing Barclays as a provider for their new bond scheme. He added, quote, it is almost a year since the Scottish Parliament voted for our motion, but the Scottish Government has failed to turn words into action. Deputy First Minister Jenny Gilruth said that, quote, in response to the situation in Gaza, the Scottish Government has consistently advocated for peace, justice and human rights and will continue to do what we can. Elsewhere, Scottish Green co-leader Ross Greer called the SNP's plans to issue Scottish bonds a, quote, gimmick, and called for it to be stopped as it, quote, creates a new barrier to Scottish independence. And this is interesting because it comes after a report from William Thompson of Resilient Economy Scotland and Jim Osborne for the Scottish Currency Group, who said that the SNP government should pause plans to issue these bonds, saying that the proposals will, quote, result in approximately £170 million leaking out of the Scottish economy. The Scottish government doesn't see it that way, though, does it, Abby? I'm quite interested. You've covered this quite a bit previously.
Yeah. I spoke to William and Jim about this when the report came out sometime last year. It was very interesting because they put a lot of freedom of information requests in, and they've spoken to civil servants about the bond programme and basically discovered that kind of no consideration to Scotland becoming an independent country in the time that this bond programme be operating had been undertaken, which basically means there's no thought that's been given if Scotland becomes independent during that time, what would happen to the bond programme, because the credit rating is based on, being part of the UK and a lot of the stuff, and it's all set entirely within the current constitutional framework, basically. So they said that was implicit in the civil servants' work and how they went about doing it, and they were quite shocked about that when I was talking to them about it, and obviously got them to explain to me in great detail what that meant. So I do understand now. Thank you very much. So yeah, no, it was very interesting, and the way they were saying about this 170 million is because the way it's set up kind of encourages foreign ownership of Scotland's assets, basically, rather than kind of benefiting people who live in Scotland, which is kind of in contravention of like community wealth building, because you're looking for kind of big private investors to come in and give this money to buy these bonds, and therefore the Scottish government will use that for capital.
Oh my God. It does, doesn't it? It looks like all of... I like Abby's hairdo. Like, I love my long hair, obviously, and look at the gorgeous colour. Again, thank you, MZ, my dear. I love Manic Panic now. Watch this space. Once this is all faded out, essentially, washed out, I'll be picking another colour. They're all in a... Where have I put it, actually? Give me a minute. Where is it? Huh. It's just somewhere. I will find it. So it's in a little tub. And I've written down my favourite colours that would go well with this complexion. They look awesome. Watch the space. So that'll probably be closer to our anniversary, which is in late October.
Investment. The Scottish government have said that they want to use this programme to borrow better. So it's not to borrow more money, because obviously we know there is a deficit and there's a lot of issues with, the £1 billion black hole that gets talked about a lot. But basically, it makes them kind of structure debt more effectively. It kind of makes it a little bit better financially for them. And, they say it would make them a more attractive destination for investment in the UK, kind of diversify their sources of borrowing and make it kind of better money for taxpayers, because we know that capital investment projects, so you're talking about, funding public services, big infrastructure projects,
I remember
cost a lot of money. And obviously, if you have interest rates and things like that, scale it goes up and up, become a massive problem. But Jenny Gilruth obviously says that, this is, is a standard form of borrowing that governments use around the world, and it's a good way for them to do it, and it's underpinned by high investment grade credit ratings, which is what I was talking about. They're kind of part of the UK government. So, and she says it's an endorsement of the strength of the Scottish economy and efforts we're taking to drive that forward. So there are two sides to it. Some people think it's a really good idea and does kind of give a lot of strength to the Scottish economy as it is. There are people saying there are some issues with it, obviously. So yeah, it's very interesting. I have the fill right up with my chat of Jim and William on the National's website. If people want to read that, it's very interesting.
Oh yeah, we could put that in the comments.
Yes, I'll put that in the comments. It's very interesting. They went into kind of more detail about what they found, because they have read this stuff to the extreme. These guys know what they're talking about when it comes to bonds. And they're very helpful.
It is a complex issue, and I do wonder, maybe more people would be talking about it and reading about it and learning about it if it didn't feel like it was this really complicated thing. I almost feel like the Scottish government wants to portray.
It is currently 11 here. So, comfortable? If it dips any lower, yeah. is an actual camera. It sits here now, so I don't use the one on the laptop. So yes, it's a better camera. And I've got it set up perfectly now. It's sitting on top of a book I bought that Andy Luke recommended to me. You know, I'd be covering on a Katie and Andy live stream in the future, so watch the space. The book's called Crap MPs. The first one in the book, the first entry, is Randolph Churchill. Guess who his son was? Does it? Oh no, that's just me. No, that's just me. I gauge how well the colour is on my curtains and on the chair I'm sitting. Or my purple box, which you can see here. And they all look fine. I look pale. This is my natural colour. So it's probably just me. It isn't washed out. I made sure of that. I went onto the cameras, the actual company, their website, and I asked them, so I'm a screener. I got any suggestions for me? And they sent me straight to one of their topics. Matrix Churchill. Oh, that's funny. Hold on, I like that. Rejoice, comrades. We have an Omaha. Hello, Omaha. I went to that Wikipedia page. I was giggling all the way through it. Thank you. Well, I got it all, I think. It might be my roots you're saying. I couldn't quite get my roots correct. I never do with any sort of hair dye, ever. Doesn't matter, even if I bleach it, my roots are still kind of grey. But the rest of it's all green. Da-da-da-da. So the colour of Romantic Panic that I chose is called Venus Envy, which is basically like I'm treating it like a dark green. It doesn't look like a dark green to me as I'm looking at it. It is absolutely gorgeous. I love this colour. Oh, a lot of programmes have aged badly from that era, Elron. It's kind of a really, really dirty looking cream now. It used to be really quite a nice colour when I bought it. H&M, unfortunately. But yeah, successive washes over the years have basically changed its colour to this sort of dirty cream colour. It's nice and loose and it's long and it has pockets. I keep on forgetting that you're slightly older than me, aren't you, Elron? Sorry.
Yeah, as a really complicated thing so that people don't look that hard into it. Maybe that's a bit conspiratorial of me. Yeah. But I often think that about economic issues. Yeah, that they are presented
any finance stuff
in that way for people so that they think, oh, that's not for me.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people do struggle with some of these concepts.
I do remember when Hamza used to first announce it that people were like super excited about the bonds. I do remember that. I thought, wow, where's people so interested in these bonds thing? And you know, it is very interesting on how it all works and the way to raise money and the different kind of ways to fund things and what that means for the finances of Scotland. Obviously, if you're the Scottish government and you're, you know, should be working towards preparing for independence, that is the long-term goal, then you want to have a really good financial sound base to go with. And obviously having something like a bonds program that other independent countries use in place, whether or not it has been prepared for Scottish independence, as William and Jim said, having one and having experience of one cannot be a bad thing.
True. Well, there is a lot of chat about this in our comments just now.
Bonds.
So one person says issuing bonds is something that all countries do, which is very true. And they add, if Scotland issues bonds, it is a move towards independence. All countries issue bonds. As a country, we should be doing everything we can to operate as if we are independent. So there's a bit of support for that there. Yeah. And I think I've seen quite a bit of support across the website too. So it's definitely kind of a divisive subject. And so is this issue of FDI in general, like foreign direct investment. You'll hear the Scottish government sort of singing the praises of being this really, really popular FDI location.
Mm-hmm.
But then you will hear the kind of economists that we're talking about, like William Thompson, saying, actually, that isn't a great thing because it just means that more of our resources and businesses are being owned overseas.
Offshore,
So
it's very interesting because obviously there's a lot of interest in the community wealth building aspect of it, and empowering like local communities and how they have control over the finances. Again, slightly like a devolution aspect. A lot on this today's podcast, but it's super interesting. Obviously, we'll keep on top of what's going on with the bonds because they should be getting issued soon, shouldn't they?
Indeed. Well, we'll keep following it and seeing what further chat comes out of it. It is interesting. And it is actually really good to be having these conversations, I think, regardless of what people's stance is, because we're talking about things that we can do to prepare Scotland for independence. And at least it's like a substantive move towards that rather than more speculation about how we get past the constitutional blockages that are currently there. And, that is important. But the finances and the economy of an independent Scotland are very important too. And then it gives people something that they can talk about and think about how it would actually work.
Yeah, because during the 2014
they actually worked it out for me. That was fun. So that was my rheumatologist and my GP were, so an appointment with my GP and my rheumatologist was there as well. Professor McKinnon, what are you doing here? Oh, I wanted in on this conversation. We actually calculated how old you actually are. So this was Dr. Campbell. She's retired now. She needed it. She'd been a GP for 48 years, for Christ's sake. No, 42 years. She was knackered. But this was when I was seeing her. This was pre-COVID. So it was about 2018, something like that. 2017 maybe. And Professor McKinnon, my rheumatologist, was there. Said, we've actually worked it out. Me and Dr. Campbell here have been working together. Well, we've still been doing our jobs. And we've worked it out. So back then they said, we've calculated it. And we've both come to a consensus that the age you are, so the 70, oh yeah, it was 9 years ago, so I would have been 38. Oh yeah, it was just before I got married, actually. It was about a month before I got married. Christ, mental. So we've sat down and worked out, and we've came to the conclusion that you're 38 currently, but your body, your internal, all your bones and everything, we've worked it out that you are currently 68. So I was basically 30 years older than what my actual age was. That was fun. I should doing the exercise like stretches and stuff, taking doggo or pupper for walk. It's always good to get some movement, especially into the legs, into the hips. Oh. Well, they've already been granted, Equinor's already been granted licenses to parts of our dwindling basin, essentially. Not all of it, obviously. And the Tories in Reform keep on moaning about, you should start drilling Jackdaw in fucking Rosebank. So Jackdaw's natural gas and Rosebank's oil. The Rosebank one it is literally to actually mine to drill down to it is going to cost fucking billions. And we still have, after we've extracted it, after we've pumped it out, it still has to get sent away. We don't have any refineries. Grangemouth is gone. So it has to get shipped to get refined. Then if we want it and ship back, we have to use it. But it's still going to be on the open fucking market. That is a rather novel idea, Omaha. Well, it would be, wouldn't it? Boom. There we go. Ta-ra. Fun speculative ideas get pinned. Thank you, Omaha.
Referendum, it was one of Project Fear's biggies, wasn't it? The finances of what Scotland would look like post independence, and the Scottish government have been under SNP for a long time since that referendum. There's obviously a lot of work being done on that, and it's just super interesting, I think, to see how that develops and how we're looking to move on, as you said, to the preparations for independence.
I'm going to go down a slight side note just because it's kind of relevant. So I was in England recently and happened to be going for some late night food after a concert and got chatting to some people who were there. They were very interested in politics and they asked a lot about Scottish politics and seemed very sympathetic to Scotland's situation. They prompted it rather than, I think people just imagine that I go around like screaming about independence everywhere I go. It's actually not the case. Like people will ask me about politics. I feel like just
stay hydrated. Self-care is good care. Take your meds. Stay based. Free Palestine and tell Burnham blank, blank, blank. Or tell Angie blank, blank, blank. That is all I will say. It has been awesome as always, Elron. Thank you for visiting. And I will catch you later. Good night.
It's the nature of my job. As soon as someone says, "Oh, well, what do you do?" You say you're a journalist. They will ask you about these kinds of things. And so, yeah, he was really sympathetic to Scotland's situation and felt like, yes, Scotland wasn't an equal part of the Union, but immediately said, English guy, of course, but Scotland couldn't survive by itself, could it? And I said, well, look at all these other Europeans.
They appear sympathetic. I get that. Like all the English comrades I know, you are amazing people. I love yous. Especially Jim Speak. Praise be Jim. That man is a fucking legend. And a mod. Praise be. Mod. Jim Speak. They would have to stop whaling. They've got a carve out though. Scientific research. No. Don't believe you that one, Norway. Sorry. Yeah. Yes, of course we'd be able to go on our own. If we actually got our independence, we'd be 14th richest nation on the planet. Don't get me wrong, England is still higher than us. Not by much, though. Mad ferret. Mad ferret. I'm not sure how many they actually get allowed to whale for scientific reasons. It's not that much, I think. I believe. Citation needed, sorry about that. Oh god, yeah, easily, Jacqueline, yeah.
Countries that have a similar population size, that have maybe even fewer resources than Scotland does. And he was like, oh yeah, I never really thought about it that way. Can I add that this guy worked in Westminster? He was a political advisor and he just never really engaged with the idea of it properly. And it was like his understanding of it flipped like that. It was just thinking about it in a slightly different way. He's obviously been told from the media time and time again, and his colleagues in Westminster, Scotland can't do it. Scotland just can't do it. Don't question it. Don't think too much about why it can't do it. And it was just fascinating to see how these conversations can change the way people are thinking about it. And of course, maybe he went away and thought she was talking a load of rubbish, but I don't know that. In the moment, he seemed to be quite engaged. That's why I think these conversations around the bonds can be really useful, because they do demonstrate that we could have the powers to do these things ourselves.
Exactly.
So yeah, sorry about that little side note.
Sorry, I'm about to go off on mine once we get to the next story.
Oh, okay, perfect. So it's going to be equal then. We're going to move on to our final story today. The United Kingdom's union is under, quote, unprecedented pressure from a rising pro-independence tide, Sinn Féin President Mary Lou McDonald has said ahead of a historic vote on Irish unity preparation this week. Ahead of the Irish Parliament debating and voting on her party's Irish Unity Bill this week, McDonald described history unfolding. She was speaking during an address to her party's annual commemoration to United Irishman leader Wolfe Tone at Bodenstown, County Kildare on Sunday. She said they were gathered not only to commemorate and honour the past, but to, quote, testify that together we will unite Ireland and bring about a new republic of the people, by the people, and for the people. McDonald welcomed Fine Gael's recent announcement that they will publish their proposals on Irish unity and the SDLP's Irish Unity Conference in Belfast last week. She said they now, quote, need to see positive movement and enthusiasm from Taoiseach and Fianna Fáil. Sorry, I'm sure I butchered that.
No, I was
leader.
hoping you would say it right.
Well said, Husmas. Both created by Scotsmen, Scottish people. Rejoice. Feel free to, I will read it out to make sure everyone gets this. It's ironic that Scotland created the Bank of England, which they used to suck our wealth from us. Correct. The BBC was a Scotland creation as well, which they now use to tell us how crap we are at everything. True. Truth gets pinned. I will pin that. Do not worry. It is true. Was like us, damn few in the rudded. Jacqueline. Omaha, Jacqueline. The pair of yous are amazing. Thanks. The list of Scottish inventions. One of my favourite ones that I love laughing about and reminding Americans of. Yes, we funded your Navy. John Paul Jones. Yeah. You what? And when one of my bestie's husband, he came over here to do his degree to Glasgow specifically, went to Glasgow University, and he didn't know that when one of his flatmates told him, "Aye, we created your Navy." What? So yeah, what the fuck? And for more on Scottish inventions, look at all these. You fucking... Then Bestie's husband heard that brilliant line I just used from his flatmate. Was like us, damn few in the rudded. Yeah, he's entombed in Annapolis. Yeah. It's fascinating, isn't it, Marcus? Shush, Omaha. They might get scared when we mention shit like that. Don't get me wrong, people were saying it back during the referendum, obviously. Omaha may live in England, but he is Scottish. Omaha is amazing. He grew up here in Glasgow for lessons. Yeah, that'd be fun. Us taking back the Bank of England. Fucking amazing. I said that to a unionist supporter during the referendum. I said, "What? No, we didn't." "Aye, we did. We were set up by a Scotsman." "What? Really?" "Yeah." And I brought it up on the phone. Like, there you go. What the fucking... I don't know that. Yeah, we don't get taught our own history. Did you not realise that? That is starting to change now, thank God. It was starting to change when I was at school, when I was a teenager. We were verboten. We weren't allowed to learn our own history in case we started to get too independent. But that streak's always ran through Scotland. Thanks. There's always been a good few of us wanting independence from England. Parcel rogues.
To be honest.
Michael Martin and Sinn Féin president also emphasised that momentum towards Irish unity is continuing.
Jacqueline, you very intelligent person. Yes. Basically, we're trying to get money to actually come back and get our country. Thing over the water. He was basically over there for a good few decades. Then came back. That's why he got the Jacobite uprising. Because he came back home, essentially. There were 2 attempts. Both failed. Bugger. Not good. We tried at least. I'll give us that. Yeah.
Continuing to grow. The election of nationalist governments in Scotland and Wales underlines that Britain's union is under unprecedented pressure from a rising pro-independence tide, she said. I believe that the time has come for a united Ireland. The planning and preparation must start now because we now have an unprecedented opportunity for all parties to enter the conversation and begin planning for unity with enthusiasm. Abby, can you explain a little more about this legislation that Sinn Féin are introducing?
Oh, God. I will return, do not worry. Rejoice, we have flow snake. How goes it, Mod? Rejoice, we have flow snake now. Amazing.
Yes, I read the bill this morning, one of my first post-holiday tasks. It's very interesting, actually. I mean, it's quite a short bill, but the kind of the detail of what it says is more interesting than the length. It basically means that the Toshak, that's totally wrong, has got to prepare and publish a green paper. So 18 months of this bill passing, it basically sets out, basically gives people in Ireland on both sides of the border the information that they would need ahead of voting on whether or not to unify, essentially. So it basically comes there. So there's a British-Irish Agreement Act from 1999, which was basically what was brought in after the Good Friday.
Oh, thank you, Marcus. You're not alone in that. A lot of people made that assumption. So they were worried. Oh, and a lot of people believed the absolute bollocks. That if you leave and go independent, you'll be at the back of the queue and it'll take you forever to get in. No, there was already tacit approval from the EU that we'd be streamlined in.
The agreement. It's the legal mechanism in Ireland.
Super independence.
To put the Good Friday Agreement into law, and so part of that gives effect to that. Gives us things like the British Irish Council and stuff like that. And it is so interesting because basically this is the kind of key quote that I pulled out from it. It said that basically responsible governance requires that the state plan and prepare for the possibility of constitutional change in an orderly, inclusive and informed manner so that the people of the island of Ireland may exercise the right of self-determination should they choose to do so on the basis of reliable and accessible information. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, that is
Isn't that so interesting that, obviously, so the Troshak has to do it within 18 months. He's got to do a lot of, discussing with people in civic society, different political groups, lots of people, lots of different things. It even says, that it has to have particular regard to those who are underrepresented. So people like women, young people, older people, ethnic minorities in new communities, just to make sure that what the questions.
Oh, I get that. A lot of people use the blue and white hearts for saltire, which is basically the colours. I love my flag. It is amazing. And the reason for the cross is because St. Andrew didn't want to be crucified like his Lord, like Jesus. So they splayed him out. They made him look like a cross. That's why we've got the cross on the saltire. Citation needed, but roughly, yeah, we've got enough citation for it to be kind of mostly accurate. Yeah.
People have about what Irish unification would look like can be answered in a green paper. This is we've seen kind of white papers in the Scottish government before, but this is quite big for Irish unification to have documents and have a discussion and about what it would look like afterwards, what questions people want to understand, and for the Troshak to basically go and find the answers to those questions. And then obviously another part of it is to convene a citizens' assembly off the back of that report so that the report can then be discussed and so that more further conversations can take place about that. And I just find that so interesting. And I'll love to see that report when it comes out in a while. But it's just, it's very interesting to see how that will come out.
What do you think is going to happen with this vote then this week?
I'm not sure. Obviously, I'm not sure on the makeup of the of the Irish Parliament. So it'll be interesting to see if it passes. But there is, we have it in Northern Ireland. We have Sinn Féin as the First Minister, and we're obviously getting to a point now where, as you said, all three of the devolved nations are led by pro-independence and pro-reunification parties. This is a big step forward in that sort of, Celtic alliance thing where we're seeing the work being done in Ireland that could potentially give a basis for Scotland and Wales to look towards for if they do get to hold a poll, and how that has gone down. And obviously they're making progress towards it. And I think that's the most interesting point.
Indeed.
Oh, don't worry about it,
our
Celtic, honestly.
Alliance newsletter covers all these kinds of things. Mm-hmm. So if you are very interested and you would like updates about this bill, about relationships that we're having with Plaid Cymru, who also now have a monthly column in the National, I should add. I don't think I've mentioned this on the podcast before. I can't remember the dates off the top of my head, unfortunately. But if you look up thenational.scot Plaid Cymru, you'll find that out. But yeah, you can head to the national.scot/newsletters and sign up to the Celtic Alliance newsletter led by Laura Pollock and get weekly updates about what's going on with this sort of burgeoning Celtic Alliance. I'd also like to apologize for saying Fianna, because I absolutely know that's not the pronunciation.
Yeah,
I was
I'm sorry
reading
for
too
my
fast and I was
mistake.
panicking when I was coming across it, and I thought it would be really bad if I pronounced something wrong today, especially after I criticized Andy Burnham for saying Senith wrong. I do know that it's Fina and not Fianna, so I please, that's my full apologies if we have any Irish or Northern Irish listeners.
So it's Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil. I can't remember what one's what. One of them's basically Labour and one of them's basically the Tories. I'll need to ask Andy about it. Hang on, give me a minute, I'll actually check. Two main parties in the Dáil. Oh, no. Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, yeah. Let's see. So Fianna Fáil is basically the Republic's the One Nation Tories. Go back. Right. Fine Gael. What? Oh, there we go. Oh, they're both basically Tories. So the Dáil Éireann, we've got 30. The Senate Éireann, which is basically the reviewing chamber, essentially, they've got 16 out of 60. And the European Parliament, they've got 4 out of 14, and they've got 246 councillors out of 949. Oh, Christ. Fucking blue shirt bastards. Christ. Hang on, I just noticed my number there. Give me a minute. I've got 10 viewers on Twitch. What the hell is going on? Hello, everyone. Thank you.
Listeners, please do forgive me, and I will work on my pronunciations next time. Though I think my other pronunciations were okay. I was just reading too fast.
Listen,
really
it
sorry.
happens. I also forgot to say that basically it was about the economic and fiscal implications of reunification and all the different things about that. Just wanted to put that in there. You're talking like health and things like that. There's a whole wide range of stuff that's going to get covered in it if the bill passes, which is just, so interesting. Sorry, just thought I'd put that in. I realised that I'd just skipped my notes.
No, that's
too many
all right.
chat away.
It was very informative. I certainly wasn't listening and thinking, God.
Being poor costs more. Listen to your lass. It sucks. It does. To my fellow poors out there, much sympathy and solidarity with you. I know exactly what it's like. Fucking hate it. We're a little bit more comfortable now because I've got my full award up here for my benefit. So in that regard, we've got a little bit extra spending money, essentially. I mostly buy the nicer things for the house. Better food. Getting stuff for myself, like this wrist braces and shit like that, knee supports, blah blah blah. I mostly get them on the NHS though. I get sent to orthotics, which is fun. They've done my insoles, which are in my Skechers, which are sitting in the bedroom through that wall behind the monitor. Ah, itchy, itchy, itchy.
I was missed so much out of that. So thank you.
Holiday brain. I'm still thinking about giraffes.
No,
I went to
you're
Blair Drummond.
giraffe.
Yeah, I saw a giraffe at Blair Drummond.
Oh,
So
how
I
was
eating a
that?
tree. It was great. Although I went in the heat wave though, so that was not ideal. I had to leave at lunchtime.
Oh dear.
Too hot.
But
2 year
did
old.
you
Too hot.
enjoy?
I did. We loved the train. That was my little one's highlight of the day. None of the animals at the safari park. He did like the meerkats, but the train was his favorite part. We went on the train.
The train was not my favorite part on Friday when I was stuck on the Vanty West Coast for 8 hours.
Oh
I was
no!
having
Well,
a
I was just
wonderful
sad I
time.
didn't
Oh,
get to see
poor
a
Laura.
chimp.
Well, gutting. Next
I
time.
know,
Next time.
Next time, chimps.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, everyone. If you enjoyed all of this,
Woohoo! Broadband paid, which means you get to hear a mad Scottish woman rant. Always fun. I'm glad. Times view and shoes. Oh my god. Need to remember to brush my venomous fangs more often. You do that, full snake. Yes, and please remind the snakelets as well. Brush your teeth. Feed the little snakelets. I'm quite good. I have to be. Look at them. Yeah, sweet. My favourite sandwich is from Boots, part of the meal deal. Chicken and bacon. It is tasty. And I get cloudy lemonade and a millionaire shortbread, or if I'm feeling a little bit fruity, I get like a raspberry pastry thing. But I love that chicken and bacon sandwich. It's delicious. Nom nom nom.
please do consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. Please do consider subscribing to us on audio streaming services. We are on all of them, I think. I mean, there's probably some that I've never heard of that we're not on, but we're on the main ones. So please do go and listen to us on there. Leave us a like, leave us a review. It's really, really helpful. And if you are not already subscribed to The National, you can do so at thenational.scot/subscribe from just £1, which is great. You know, that's really good value. You get 3 months of.
During the election period back in May, I've got the entire year for 20 quid. Fucking bargain. And I said as much in one of their chats. Well, that side. I said in one of their chats, and Laura encouraged other people who were in the chat at the same time, follow Katie's footsteps. Oh, Asda Tesco's ones are crap. Yeah, try the Boots ones. They're really quite good. That's what my sister does. So she goes to her nearest Boots that does like that has the basically lunch things essentially. And she said to me, "Here, I got you your favourite one." Oh, thank you, my dear. Yes, I urge you to try the boot sandwiches. They're really quite good. The wraps are also quite tasty as well. He thinks I'm obsessed with the sandwiches. Says man that can't get enough of peri peri chicken wrap. It's on the milder side, that one, because they're appealing to a wider audience, essentially. They can't make it too spicy, but he likes spicy. Oh, dear God, darling. You didn't need to sub to me if you can't afford it, by the way. Oh, yeah. Being poor costs more. Thank you, neoliberalism. You're doing a stellar job of ruining the lives of poor people. Round of applause for neoliberalism, basically ruining our lives. Fun times.
Access, and there's loads of stuff there, loads of great investigative work, exclusive journalism, And you'll also be supporting Scotland's only pro-independence newspaper, even though I was today
They're the only
accused of
one.
being a member of the nationalist media class, which I think has got to be one of the smallest classes
Is
out
that our
there.
newsroom?
Yeah, there's only one of us, so I don't really know how I can belong to
Nice
a
one.
class
Good.
of people. Ironically, that came from
Yummy.
a Labour
Nom, nom, nom.
political candidate. So I think, you know,
Sorry, do you mean failed?
brutal. Anyway.
Just thought I would point that out.
So yeah, if you want to support the nationalist media class, you can head to thenational.scot/subscribe today and come get on board, because we are obviously running everything and so powerful. So yeah, thank you so much. You can tune in live on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 1 p.m. And we love seeing your comments. So come and leave them, and we'll make sure to try and reply to more of them next time. Sorry, we kind of ran out of time today, but usually we do love getting involved in the chat. See you again soon.
Thank you, ladies. Awesome as always. I am not a serf. They can try and make me one if they want. They're going to fucking fail. Like people keep, I can't remember who said it, citation needed for this one. Capitalism will sell us the rope to hang its, sell the rope to hang itself. I want to say Lenin, but I'm probably incorrect. Someone more smarter than me would know that. Maybe Jim would know. Jim might know that one. I'll ask him. Let's go and check out the basements. That is the Mexican strip. Your lass will be streaming for that one. I'm actually going to. I'll bring up the radio, but I'll watch the match on my phone, and we can watch listen to, because can't do the watch because get copyright cut and the channel taken down because naughty, not allowed to do that. Where is it? Where is Marcus's comment with the link to the Mexican strip? Gimme. Ah, ah, ah. Oh, I'm getting close. Ah! Oh! Oh, that fucking rocks. Yeah, it's except for cookies. Oh, Marcus, that is fucking awesome. You know what David make us? Because I was go with the Bruins one on my sleeve, but his house has voted to. Uh, describe in chat what the kids act is, Omaha, would you? Or the post link? Oh yeah. It's mostly deliberate, Jacqueline. Mostly deliberate. Yeah, and Shabana's still going to be Home Secretary, Miss Panopticon. Andy, why you're not getting rid of that fucking girl? I hate her. I don't want her in cabinet. Like the the OSA, the Online Safety Act. I can go and do one and all. But we have to protect the children. Oh, someone please think of the children. Fucking shut it. It's not just the children. And what you have to do is give better education to the parents. And most parents are actually quite decent. Mostly. Don't get me wrong, there's bad ones out there. Yeah. Thank you, Omaha. Oh, that is fucking awesome. Look at it. That strip is kind of amazing. Right. Let's see if we can find that. God, I've only got 20 minutes.
I just want period products to be as accessible as toilet roll. So if you go into a public bathroom, there's toilet roll, there's hand towels or a dryer, there's soap. These things are a given, and there's a code that requires that under sort of health and safety legislation. Period products should be normalised and mainstreamed. And I just want period products to be as accessible as toilet roll. So if you go into a public bathroom, there's toilet roll, there's hand towels or a dryer, there's soap. These things are a given, and there's a code that requires that under sort of health and safety legislation. Period products should be normalised and mainstreamed. And I just want period products to be as accessible as toilet roll. So if you go into a public bath.
We called for this inquiry, and our thoughts are with the patients and families affected, and I pay tribute to everyone who has taken part in the inquiry. I am surprised that there are no immediate recommendations. Can the Minister provide a further update on the timeline for when she expects recommendations to be brought forward by David Strang? And
No, no. There we go. Bye bye. Let's live.
Stanza. This is the stadium where it seems to have a floating roof on one end. It's very curious.
It's strange to look at, isn't it?
Yeah.
And very steep and very open.
Let's find something for like 15 minutes. Hey. Yeah. Oh, gimme. Cody.
So you don't know why the Met Office have issued a red warning for the second time in all of history, but you don't want to look like a thicky dum-dum in front of all your mates. Here's a quick rundown before your £15 fan breaks and you explode. So today and tomorrow are expected to be the hottest June days ever recorded in the UK, smashing the previous record of 35.6 degrees in 2022, leading the Guinness World Record man doing the recording to spontaneously combust. Speaking of, according to the Met Office, the heat wave that took place a couple of weeks ago led to the death of 250 people, which has to be another kind of record, but don't send anyone from Guinness because they'll only add to the casualties. In fact, it's been estimated that over the last 4 years, between 1,300 and 3,000 people have died of heat-related illnesses per year, 90% of whom are grannies. Don't boil the grannies! Which brings us on to how underprepared we are as a country for the rising temperatures, because at the moment we're going to pieces, with teachers passing out in schools and surgical operations up and down the country being cancelled because doctors can't think and some prick set up a sunbed in A&E. So why is it all happening? Well, it doesn't take a genius to realise that over the last few years, the entire planet seems to have have entered its air fryer era. Basically, it seems to have gotten fucking boiling fucking instantly. And the reason for that is a little thing we call spending 100 years pumping out fossil farts into the atmos, thereby trebling the number of days that reach over 32 degrees Celsius when compared to the 1990s. In fact, according to research, we're now 20 times more likely to experience temperatures over 40 degrees than we were in the 1960s. There's another jump scare for your gran. So what is the government doing to prepare for air fry-mageddon? Answer, not enough. Which is why we're all trapped inside our heavily insulated homes with nothing but treeless streets as our only form of escape. The one thing the government has done is pass the 7th carbon budget literally about an hour ago, which places a legally binding cap on greenhouse gas emissions. Which, let's face it, is the real reason your gran keeps passing out during 11s. But guess who voted against capping greenhouse gas emissions? Yes, Reform UK, the party that's consistently been topping national opinion polls for the last 2 years. And of course the Conservatives voted against it as well, the tits. So given that it's looking like the world's temperature is about to increase by 1.5 degrees Celsius in the next few years rather than in 2047 as expected, perhaps it's about time we start pressuring our politicians to actually do something about it. Like maybe pairing clean energy with a cooling system, call me crazy. Or failing that, we can maybe take a leaf out of Spain's book and start pelting our politicians with mud, which would be really sore because the ground's so fucking dry. So you don't know why the Met Office have issued a red warning for the second time in...
What is it now?
How do you want me to ruin your day?
No.
So I was just eating a piece of chicken and I was like, this is a weird texture with them.
Because it looks like you were eating a popsicle and not a chicken. That's not a chicken bone in your hand.
And so I did a little Google search on why is my chicken the texture of rubber. This is fresh, organic, air-chilled chicken.
All jokes aside, organic can't protect you from what definitely happened.
Come to find out, there's a thing called woody chicken.
Yeah, that's right.
What?
I said, yeah, that's right.
And it's because chickens are grown and raised at such a rate, like they just want to produce them so quickly as possible. They want them to be as big as quickly as possible.
That's because most people don't want to pay $26 a chicken for my birds raised on this delicious pasture and slaughtered at an appropriate weight. But I've said it before and I'll say it again. There's no shame in purchasing the protein you can afford.
In the process of doing so, their muscles begin to literally atrophy, thus producing the texture of like wood, like wet, soggy wood.
That's not quite what's happening. Allow me to demonstrate with you. You look relatively docile. Come here. You know, they say that they can barely walk. You just finished eating and you're not very happy with me. Most of the weight that these big boys put on towards the end of their lives is going to be in the breast. And this is where the chicken farmer has to be very careful. Don't worry, friend. You're too fat to eat. When the birds get to around 7 to 8 weeks old, and especially beyond 8 weeks old, the breasts begin to grow so quickly that the blood...
They have a coast, don't they, Flow Snake? We're an island, we're surrounded by water. And the reason it hits different here is because it's always so fucking humid, especially when, like, we're getting hot next week. The south of England, like the south of the country, these are all going to get fucked. It's going to be either close or over 40 Celsius. That is mental. I've said as much to Emily and to Lobster and to Jim, who's in Suffolk. These are all going to get burnt alive. Make sure you've got enough factor 50. I would actually recommend factor 1,000,000. Yeah, no excuse whatsoever, Flow Snake. None whatsoever. None. Oh, fuck that nonsense. Darling, get back to your home state. Arizona's far too fucking hot. Please look after yourself and look after Cappy and the menagerie. That cannot be good. How hot is it getting up in Texas, do you know? But by the way, Supermod lives in, I'll just say the state, Arizona. And look at that fucking nonsense, 110 Fahrenheit. But no, your lass would fucking get fried to a crisp. What county are you in, Jacqueline? Like, most of you are going to be getting, like, near 40 or over 40 Celsius, which is just mental. Make sure you've got sunscreen, and if you do go out, make sure you're well protected. Loose fitting natural fibres, cotton, linen, silk, if you've got any. Yeah, linen would be best. I've got a couple of linen tops through in the bedroom in a bag, and like the vacuum bags. Oh, get it on the phone. Ah. Jersey was 100% humidity. That means it's raining upwards. That means all the moisture's leaving the fucking air. El Paso's cooler? That's fucking mental. I just assumed that Texas would be roughly around about the same sort of temperatures as Arizona. Oh, well, will Jester be okay? You're in the West Midlands. Yeah, you're getting up to the high 30s next week. Please take care. Look after yourself, Jacqueline. Thanks. Still hasn't been. Oh, God, crazy.
Supply can't keep up. This causes something that's actually worse than atrophy. It causes actual muscle death. The dying muscles, that space is then filled in by scar tissue, which is tough and woody. My God.
And Google's like, oh, don't worry, it's totally safe to eat.
Yeah, that's right. I know if you don't stop sucking on that stick.
Do you want to know what I had instead? A popsicle.
That's fantastic. There's several ways you can avoid woody breast. Number one, buy smaller chicken breasts because the myopathy that causes woody breast happens with the larger chicken breast. Number two, stop eating white meat, start eating dark meat. Step three, if you live in D.C., Maryland, or Virginia, buy your chicken at www. Oh, look, there's milkweed. This is critical for the monarch butterfly.
Old-fashioned, Mr. Newman's old-fashioned protein is pure our meat in your mouth, slaughtered with love and weapons by an unsavory cabal of Negroes, Native Americans, unmarried women, and the Irish. Made with real animals grown on an actual Virginia plantation, toiled upon with care and ironry by captive whites. You are interested to procure Papa John to www.blackbirdcook.com. Oh, good. 92 is still too fucking high, but at least it's cooler than Arizona. Omaha, if I remember correctly, isn't he? Or is he Oklahoma? Blackbirdcoop.com. They do dog treats. They've got pet food. I'm not entirely sure how much it is, but give it a go. The coldest I've ever experienced was minus 18, and that was back home. Like, the coldest it's got here is like minus 10 or something ridiculous as well. No, I was wondering what state another friend of ours, Red Jester Productions, he has a stream. Jester is amazing. Well, I know where you are. Don't go to Omaha. Don't go outside. Seriously, just don't. Don't. It's going to get really toasty.
Why does everything these days need to be powered by fucking AI? Story time. A few weeks ago, I went to TwitchCon Europe because Twitch gave me the partner badge. Now, if you don't know, the partner badge gives you access to all kinds of exclusive things across the convention, including access to the partner party, where there's free alcohol and food and shit, and the partner lounge, where there's free food and shit. But also in the partner lounge, there's a photography studio where professional photographers take portraits of the partners coming into the lounge. Now, I like cool photos being taken of me, so of course I went and had my photos taken. And then this morning I got an email from the photographers saying, hey, your photos will be online in a few days. In that email, there was a link to the gallery and a password to get into the gallery. Now imagine my surprise when I click onto the gallery, put the password in, and then get asked to upload my face to an AI algorithm so it can detect my face and match it against my photos. A photo gallery does not need to be powered by AI. You don't need access to my face to be uploaded to an AI algorithm to give me the photos that you took of me. I know what I look like. I can just go through the photos and go, oh, that's me. I'll download the photo and call it a night. Now, of course, you might be thinking, well, maybe it's for security purposes to stop people from getting access to other partners' photos. But on the option, you can choose to select a photo from your own photo gallery, which means I could just download a photo of my friend or another partner that's had their photo taken, and then get access to their photos because the AI doesn't know whether it's me or someone else that's uploading it. There were lots of weird AI decisions at TwitchCon anyway, including an AI photo booth, like you could live stand AI-generate filters over you, right next to Artist Alley, where people had handcrafted and hand-painted digital art from real artists, and it was just a bit of an insult. It's just little things like this that make the quality of life and my overall opinion of these companies a whole lot worse. You don't need AI to power a photo gallery. Literally just give me the link and the password, and then I can find my photos myself, and everyone would have gone about their day, and this video wouldn't be being made. Why does everything these days need to be powered by fucking AI?
From the filming and the group offending, the number of individual offences, and in respect of X and Y, the fact that there were 2 separate incidents. We found that for each child, the offences passed the custody threshold.
Well, earlier I spoke to Wendy Joseph, KC, a former judge at the Old Bailey, about the details of the sentencing.
I haven't been able to see exactly what the conditions will be. And with children, there are different ways in which you could deal with it. But I think that the Lady Chief Justice made it absolutely clear to the children at the time she was passing the sentences that they will not be in detention for the entire period of 4 years. So they will certainly be released at a point, and then there'll be all sorts of conditions on the way in which they behave and conduct themselves once they are released.
Right.
But I think we're going to have to study the actual released document in order to understand the full ramifications.
Right.
But what is clear is that 2 of the 3 are now in detention.
Were you surprised at the original sentence being quashed and the imposition of this 4-year detention?
No. No, I mean, no one who works in the field, no one who understands the law would, I think, have been surprised at that.
With that then, do you think that the original trial judge, Nicholas Rowland, didn't understand the law? Because there were many people scratching their heads and outraged at that initial decision. You've said yourself there that nobody's surprised now that the appeal was successful. So did the original judge just not understand?
Okay, I am losing my chat off the screen so I can actually watch the game. So we can listen to it here, and you can watch me react to the Portugal-Croatia match. I think so. Close, Nick?
When you're dealing with children, the law says when you're dealing with child defendants, because here we're dealing with child victims as well, but when a judge is sentencing a child defendant, the law requires that you look first of all at the child's welfare, and you look also and primarily at how to ensure that a child is rehabilitated and doesn't offend again. That's the principle. And that's what the judge was applying. But if you'd gone on to read the rest of the directions that apply, the rest of the guidelines that apply, it goes on to say, big but, you've got to weigh that against the other side of the coin. The other side of the coin is the seriousness of the offences and the effect that it has upon the victims of the offences.
Yeah, that's so.
What the Court of Appeal was saying today, in the clearest possible terms, is these offences were very, very grave. We're not just talking about a rape. We're talking about rape on 2 separate victims, multiple rapes on each of those victims. We're talking about degradation and humiliation. We're talking about a whole package, the filming of it, a whole package that makes this very, very serious. So you'd start off with the principle that you try to put the defendant children's interests first. But
what the hell? It's half time. It must have been a 12 o'clock kickoff. I checked it. It said 1 o'clock. Bollocks. So we're getting the second half. I do apologise. It does sound like her, doesn't it?
We're judge at the Old Bailey. Now, pubs in England and Wales will be allowed to stay open until 5 a.m. on Monday, meaning you can watch England's full round of 16 match against Mexico, which starts at 1 a.m. our UK time. Simon Delaney, the landlord of the Furbank pub in Wythenshawe, Manchester, has unsurprisingly welcomed the news.
Really happy that we can open.
Yeah.
It's a big thing. It is a big thing. I'll be honest with you, I was pretty savvy. I'd already applied for the license.
It was midnight.
So I was going to be open anyway.
Right.
But I think what it does now, it allows people who can go to their regular pub, their local pub, rather than having to watch it at home or go somewhere where they don't normally go.
So just explain, what had changed then? What could you do before? What were they saying you wouldn't have been able to do had they not changed it again?
Well, basically, what you had, I think it was by the 26th of June, I basically was a bit savvy. I had a look where we would go if we came first and second. There was 2 games. It would have been a midnight one on Thursday night, this coming Thursday, or the 1 a.m. on a Monday. And all you had to do was just apply for a temporary event notice. So to be honest, there is a system there for it. And I applied, and I had a phone call from the local licensing, put a couple of conditions in, and no problem, you can open.
Right.
If we progress. But obviously a lot of pubs didn't have that understanding of what they needed to do. But I think this is much better, because my worry then was, well, I might be the only pub in the area open, and I'm going to be bombarded with hundreds of thousands of people who don't normally come to my pub. So I believe this is a much better thing for the customer, and a much better thing for the pubs themselves.
That's Simon Delaney at the Furbank pub in Wythenshawe. Now, as for the game itself, England will be making their first visit to Mexico City Azteca Stadium since they were knocked out of the 86.
Stay hydrated. Self-care is good care. Stay based. Stay hydrated. Self-care is good care. Take your meds. Stay based. Free Palestine. And tell Andy Burnham, insert funny clip here. Good night, Omaha. Mwah. I will catch you later.
Absolutely manic.
The Azteca itself as well is a very special place, isn't it? People may remember 1986, a certain hand of God, but also the greatest World Cup goal ever scored by a certain Maradona. The fact that Mexico have lost, 2 games in 550 years or whatever it is there's something very special about that place.
It's amazing. I mean, I've had the chance to go there, unfortunately, not for the World Cup, because ticket prices are just absolutely mad. But I've been on other occasions, and to be there and feel that you're in the same place as where that took place in 86 is absolutely incredible. I've actually been on the pitch itself for a concert as well.
Have you? Right.
So actually being on the pitch is something really electric, definitely. And the atmosphere, I've only seen it on the TV, but on the local TV here, you really hear the sound of the fans. I mean, I don't think it would be anything that England players will have faced. And the England fans who do manage to get there, I mean, they're in for an absolute treat.
That is the 5 Live listener, Matt, that's been in Mexico for 15 years in Mexico City. Now, we'll conclude our update with some news of a historical discovery, which is blowing the minds of many people in America, especially ahead of tomorrow's 250th anniversary of the United States Declaration of Independence. A previously unknown copy of the Declaration has been discovered right here in the UK in the National Archives in Kew. Previously, only 10 copies printed in New Hampshire back in 1776 were known to have survived, and they were all in America. This 11th copy was taken from an American ship, the Dalton, captured by the British during the Revolutionary War, and it's been sitting in storage ever since. Just before I came on air, I spoke to Bethany Groff-Doru from the Museum of Old Newbury in Massachusetts, which is where the Dalton sailed from.
So the Declaration of Independence was the culmination of many, many years of back and forth on whether or not we in the colonies were trying to get a better deal from, as British citizens and remain within that framework, or whether we were actually going to become an independent country. And the Declaration of Independence was really the no
Oh, Red's live. I'm going to read out. My joints are really giving me a lot of problems just now. I do apologise. I'll be back later today because it's Friday now. I'll be back at 11ish, roughly. Let's go and say hi to Red, shall we? Stay hydrated, not necessarily with cider. Self-care is good care. Take your meds. Maradona did cheat. Stay based. Free Palestine, and tell Andy Burnham where he can fucking go. Let's go and say hi to Red, shall we? Maradona cheated, but that's okay because he scored some great goals. Made Maga be like, pumped and dumped in our crypto, but he's okay because he's a winner. Oh yeah, it's fucking mental, isn't it, Flosnick? Christ's sake. Red, let's find Red. If you're not already, everyone go and follow Red Rust 308. Red is awesome. We love Red. Catch you all later. Bye bye. Good now.